Hello, this is Decoherent, and welcome back to some more Torment Tides of Numenera. So things are moving along swiftly. Wow. So last episode, all kinds of things happened. The second half was very exciting as we fought through this enormous room, interconnected chambers, something like that, on the way to the entrance to the Bloom's Heart. All sorts of exciting fights as we moved on through. The Sunspot Icon and the Balefire were just troopers. They were awesome. They were the real stars of the show. Yeah, so I don't know if we're walking directly into the Bloom's Heart Chamber here in the near future, but we're definitely getting close. I'm very excited about this. I don't know if it's been clear, but I'm here for blood. I don't like the Bloom. I don't like what it's doing. I'm not sure if I can kill something like it, but I intend to hurt it just as badly as I can. I want it to remember me and shake in terror when it does. So, okay, we've got a whole bunch of consumables. Let's take a look. Do I need to refund or refill anyone's stats before we go in? Looks like just Rin with a little bit of healing. Tiber's down a couple might. Still at 5 out of 7. That's probably not worth it. But let's go ahead and let's use one of our lower powered healing things on Rin. Should have a bunch of those. Yep. Let's use that on Rin.
Paul and I are ready. What is that?
Alright, excellent.
That feels great.
So, yes, thank you, Rin. So let me see, is there anything else you really need to do? I don't think so. Okay, I'm just not sure if we're going to get tossed directly into, something. Oh, flex skills. Let's take care of that. Right. No, that's this one. Right? Flex skill, yes. Initiative. Good.
Never felt better than
And
I
for
do.
me, I have that necklace that does the same thing. Where's that? This guy. No. Someone else holding that? Or am I just losing my mind? Just a moment here. If I don't see it in a few seconds, I'll just give up and move on. I mean, it's not that big of a deal. Huh. Wonder what I did with it. It's odd. Someone else wearing it? No. Oh, he's not wearing anything at all. Artifact-wise. Well, okay. It's not that big of a deal. We'll just move onward. So, another Abacos, who, by the way, when they're not fighting me, are just spectacularly useless. There was one in there and it did nothing. Just nothing the entire fight.
Go.
Totally worthless. Ahead, you see a mass of bloom tongues, bigger than any you've encountered thus far. They wave gently, as if beckoning you forward. Your companions hesitate, looking to you. Okay. What are you thinking, Eurydice? I know exactly what you're thinking. Thinking? Nothing! A broad smile splits his face. But this is the greatest adventure a hero has ever invented, isn't it? You doing okay there, Rin? What? She shakes her head as though shaking off a chill. No, I'm not alright. We're in the bowels of... I don't even know what. I don't know why I'm here. She sniffs and says, almost too quiet to hear, I want to go home. Don't worry about this, man. Like, we're heading out. So, Tiber, how do you think I should play this? You're asking me? I didn't even want to come here in the first place. He wipes his forehead, his easy smile gone. Be smart, lad. You know what you came for. Don't accept any less, and don't give any more than it's worth. That's all that I got. Should have stayed in Sagas. Nothing's worth this risk. Okay. I only get to take one. Okay, Tiber is very flexible. He's got high initiative. He's got reasonable damage. Rin is surprisingly nasty when it comes time to just rip things apart. Plus, she's got the good healing. She has some really unpleasant ciphers, but she doesn't bring anything to conversation options. I absolutely adore Eurydice's damage, and he's funny. But he's not bringing any skills to talking. On the flip side, can I bring up my character screen? No. I think when it comes right down to it, I want Eurydice at my back. Rin can take care of herself, but I don't think this is her thing. Eridus is so exciting. Tiber's a little smarter. Okay. Yeah, you know what? Tiber, you've been with me since the beginning, and I think that you may have the most flexibility when it comes to dealing with these situations. So, Tiber, you and me. You guys? Ooh. Oh. Okay. I have to talk him into it. Well... Okay, if he doesn't want to go, that's fine. Eridus? Are you kidding? I was going to ask you to follow me. Yes! Let's attack this beast in its wiggly bits. Alright, let's do this. I think Tiber would have been more helpful, but if he doesn't want to go, he doesn't want to go. Before you looms a twisted mass of tubes, arteries, roots, and tongues, heaving and pulsing in the murky light. The flesh glimmers with foul shades of purple and black, pocked with pustules and necrosis. Bloom whispers gather, swarming around you like fat, buzzing flies. They sound distracted, confused. As you step closer, bloom tongues surround you, drawing you into a wet, nauseating embrace. Although they seem solid and corporeal, they somehow pass through your flesh, thrusting into your head, your limbs, and your guts, igniting prickly, hot-cold sensations all over your body. The multitude of bloom voices chitter and babble, obviously alarmed by your intrusion, but unable to muster an attack on your mind. For a moment, the feeding of the abacos has made them tired and weak. Ooh. This is interesting. Well, shush, I don't care about that. Poke into its head, try to pull them out. Nah. Tear one of them in half. Nah. Wait, obviously not. So, do I stab it, or I try to poke in its mind? You know, we have done really, really well focusing on our mental abilities and skills. Let's go ahead, and let's try to seize direct control. Slowly, carefully, you extend your thoughts into the tubes and conduits of the heart, gently testing your ability to contract a muscle here or widen an artery there. You can hear the bloom voices all around you, but they don't seem alarmed. Either they don't sense you at all, or they don't perceive your intrusion as a threat. Oh, you're in trouble. As you explore the limits of your new perception, you begin to understand the heart's composition, the fleshy nodules that serve as sensory organs, the tubes and arteries to feed the intelligence that dwells here, the roots of innumerable whispering minds that descend to this spot from every corner of the bloom, tangling together to join their forces into a mad, chaotic union. Okay. Good look for Ishin. Oh, that's right, that's the one I need to get for the Memavira. Take control of the sensory organs, arteries that lead into the heart, examine its memories, observe and watch for patterns. We established a little bit earlier that the bloom voices don't really mean anything. That they're just sort of static, something like that. Okay, let's poke harder into its memories. This is a chance that I may not get later. Floating unnoticed amongst the bloom's innumerable voices, you allow yourself to drift deeper into its mind. As the voices whisper amongst themselves, you begin to see brief images, to hear sounds, and feel hunger or satiation. These are memories of the past. Screams echo in your ears as men and women are pulled into maws, their thoughts and personalities devoured, or simply altered, scrambled, changed into monstrous forms. You see limbs torn from bodies by eager bloom tongues, eyes plucked out so that tendrils can slide gently into their sockets to reach the brains. For a moment, you see Gristler, the bloom guide, trapped in the embrace of a maw, and you can taste the raw flesh of his legs as the maw tears them off and devours them. You know, in that moment, that the bloom will eat part of him again and again, reveling in the taste of his undying faith that will provide for him, a faith that is so ill-founded. And everywhere, you hear and see the Memavira, flashes of her early days, gathering followers to overthrow the old Memavira while publicly pledging her loyalty to him. Her rebellion against him, as she slaughtered his people and dragged him down into the heart, binding him so that the tongues could feed on him slowly. All the years of her ruthless rule. In all that time, she's never changed. Her face is the same now as it was when the bloom first saw her. Interesting. All around you, whispers and chitters yield to more alien sounds, clicks and gurgles and dissonant tones. The memories change within them. Monsters stalk the corridors of the blooms. Gelatinous hulks with flickering letters and numbers writhing beneath their skin. Multi-limbed machines with legs that skitter through 100 dimensions at once. Godlings formed from sky-killing detonations, with voices of fire and smoke and screams. What? Was this something pre-human? Or in some other world? Flashing before your eyes are all the worlds the bloom has seen, in their hundreds of thousands. You can sense the city creature crawling across time and dimensions since the universe was young, perhaps longer. Its voice is changing, its flesh adapting, its senses changing. Your mind begins to hurt, barely able to comprehend the sensory impressions that are contained within the most distant memories. Fighting the urge to scream, you disengage at last, allowing yourself to drift back slowly to the surface of the bloom's mind. And yet, even with that brief exposure, your senses have broadened, and you're better able to comprehend the impossible. Not even your sire dared to gaze so deep into an alien mind. Oh wow, cool. Let's see. So I don't know if these are going to be exclusive, which is the catch here. I do need the Memavira to shut up and listen to me. So I do need to get Ishin back. I'd also really like to try to kill it, so I'm hoping these two aren't exclusive, because I want to do 1 and 3. Okay. Very carefully, let's search its thoughts for the abducted scholar. While your thoughts are joined to the bloom's, you can almost understand its voices. A whisper will spark a fleeting image in your mind's eye. A hiss will elicit a flash of anger or desire or some alien emotion you can't even comprehend. As you listen and watch, you see occasional images of a vague human figure. When you focus on them, try to hold them still. You see an isolated pocket of flesh, a cyst filled with thick black juices within which the man floats, curled up like a fetus. The cyst is wrapped carefully in fleshy tendrils and knotted muscles, watched closely by tiny chittering minds that respond for exactly this purpose. Well, I need to get the first, so alright, let's see if I can get him out. If this means that I can't kill something unpleasant in the bloom, I'm going to be really angry. Moving slowly and cautiously, you follow the faint whispers of the tiny, chittering minds that watch over Ishin. They're not far from the heart, centered around a foul little cyst, just as you suspected. When they sense your approach, they squeal in alarm, but you overwhelm and silence them. You sense the remains of a transdimensional rift in the cyst, probably the same rift that the bloom used to capture Ishin in the first place. It should be possible to reopen the rift and set him free, but the bloom will know when you do. Okay, let's hold on to that. Let's see, do I take control of the sensory organs? Again, I don't know if these are going to be exclusive. Still, though, this could be some extremely valuable data. Know your enemy, eh? Quietly, cautiously, you extend your consciousness into the bloated little sacs that quiver on the surface of the heart and within its many conduits. If you wished, you could put them in a sort of slumber that would make it harder for the bloom to sense your presence. Okay, interesting. Okay, so these aren't leading to irrevocable choices, so let's see if I'd be able to take control of the arteries. Oh, neat. Taking great care to avoid detection, you slip your thoughts into the tubes and arteries, assuming control of them. These fluids feed the intelligences that coalesce here. If you chose to do so, you could choose to contract all the arteries at once, depriving them of energy. Oh, oh, that's what I want to do so badly. So the question is, do I try to make it harder for it to detect me? Because if I'm going to pop open the rift, it'll know that. And if I shut off its blood, oh, it's going to know that too. I wonder if I could sneakily put all the organs around the heart to sleep. Okay, because it doesn't seem to be noticing us. Okay, let's try this. We want to be tricky as we possibly can. All over the heart, the blubbery nodules slowly deflate, sinking into torpor. To your relief, the bloom makes no sound of alarm. Okay, so now that we've got its hand on its neck, let's sort of carefully watch it for a second. For a time, you listen carefully to the booming pulse of the heart and observe its movements, but it teaches you little more than you already knew. Fluids are pumped here from somewhere in the bloom, and they seem to feed the many-voiced intelligence that resides in the heart. A deeper understanding of this process is beyond you. So the question is, if I pop open the prison, is that going to prevent me from trying to kill it? You know what? I'll deal with the Memavira. You gradually constrict the arteries, halting the flow of fluid to the heart. Something burbles irritably within the heart, like indigestion on a grand scale. Bloom voices chitter listlessly, but they don't seem to notice what has happened, probably because you already deadens the heart-sensitive organs. Ooh. So I've got a second. Let's listen to the voices for just a moment. You attend closely to the innumerable voices, chittering and whispering in the darkness of the bloom's mind. Your general impression is of many minds, many intelligences that are part of a shifting whole, but you can't be sure of anything beyond that. All right, prison, go. You whisper softly to the rift, and it begins to take shape again. Bloom voices shriek in alarm, but with the arteries constricted and the heart's sensory organs deadened, the bloom can do nothing to stop you.
I'm ready to learn something new.
Ha! You feel Ishin vanish from the foul little cyst. In the same moment, the air in the heart chamber ripples. A transdimensional rift tears itself into being, and a human figure topples out, dripping black juices, coughing and gagging, vomiting on the floor. You recognize the man at once. It's Mazov, the cast-off artificer you met in Zarian Daywalker's mare. Wow! Your first thought is that the bloom has somehow released the wrong man, but no, the Memavira deceived you. Ishin is Mazov. For the moment, Mazov is recovering from his ordeal, barely aware of his surroundings. He hasn't even seen you yet. Okay, let's stay focused on the heart. Eyes on the prize. The bloom tongues are still stubbornly attached to your body. The bloom voices make a final violent foray into the depths of your mind, and a memory surfaces. You stand with the woman on a circle of gold, the sky clear and blue above you. Mile of Est. The woman is well known to you. The same woman who helped you choose this spot years before. The same woman who built this enclave with you together. Her face is changed, ravaged by time. The flesh is rotting away, exposing the glistening muscles beneath. She turns away from you, as if to hide her ugliness. Not even your handiwork is proof against time. No, Marilel, you say, I have no way of fixing you, but you need not live in shame. You present her with the mask, its expression enigmatic, decorated with intricate patterns of gold. A pretty thing, she says, unable to hide the bitterness in her voice. I can just as well wrap my face in bandages, or cover my head with a sack. She holds the mask you gave her. Put it on, you hear yourself say, and she places the mask over her face. At once, it seems to meld with her flesh, and her face becomes that of a lovely young woman. Her eyes widen, knowing that something has changed, and you hold up a looking glass for her to see. She laughs aloud, a sound you haven't heard from her in years. You can change your face at will, you say to her. Oh, ha! Try it. Marilel nods, watching the looking glass carefully as her face morphs into that of an old woman, then a homely beggar lady, then a Varjellen, and a dozen more. The last face you see is dark-haired, regal in bearing. It is the face of the Memavira. Accompanied by a distant sense of hunger from the bloom, the memory fades. Wow. So the first is the Memavira. Clever girl. The heart offers no explanation as to why it showed you this memory, but the implication is clear. The Memavira is merely disguise, a mask that conceals the first cast-off. She's been alive, hiding behind a false identity for years. The bloom tugs slide painlessly out of your body, setting you free. They show no further interest in you, and the whispering voices are gone from your mind. That's it? No murder? Mazov rises, clutching himself, and he abruptly vomits a clot of black fluid onto the glistening flesh below his feet. Small red wounds mar the flesh between the wires crisscrossing his skin. Gods, he growls. Gods! He looks up at you. His mechanical eye sockets spin, wheels within wheels, focusing on your face. You're the cast-off that was riding Zarian Daywalker. What the hell are you doing down here? I thought I was rescuing someone named Ishin, but here you are instead. Yeah, that's me, he says. It's a nickname. Short for Ishanazar? Because I look like one. Whatever it is. But no one calls me that except... He pauses and smirks. The first sent you here, didn't she? No surprise. She won't be getting that resonance chamber working on her own. It's all too easy to destroy the damn thing if you don't know what you're doing. Something about words, something said in his voice, stirs a memory in you. Resonance chamber. The sensation builds. He winces, teeth clenched. God, the bloom is a terrible host. Stuck its damn tongues in my guts to force feed me, filled my lungs with bile. Not sure what you did to get me out, but thank you. He spits a black-tinged wad of phlegm over his shoulder. Well, how do we get out of here? She's waiting, and you know how she is. Whoa, 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 whoa. How did you end up a prisoner to begin with? The bloom took me, he says with a careless shrug. Not a surprise. It's not happy with the first, but you probably already know that. So it took me, because it knows I'm important to her. He says this casually, and without the faintest hint of pride. Anyway, I should get back to the first. She's gonna be... He waves a hand. Well, you know. No, I don't know. I thought I was working for the Memavira until just a few moments ago. His expression goes wooden. Skist, he says, rubbing his forehead. Look, don't tell her I said anything. I don't need anyone shouting at me right now, let alone her. This is the worst headache I've ever had. But a headache is uncoiling through your head now as well. Alarm spreads over Mazov's face, and he reaches out to catch you as you topple forward. You're underwater. The fading pulse... Oh, this is from the very beginning! The fading pulse of a sonar alarm ripples through the water, then is gone. An invisible pressure crushes your body, squeezing your head. A Gibra with a cast-off's tattoo rises from the dark to confront you. I should have known. You need something of ours to finish your resonance chamber, don't you, Father? He regards you with scorn. You haven't learned anything. You would sacrifice all of us for a chance at survival. You and the first. Pride blinds you both. You're wrong, Tom, you snarl. Yet his words frighten you. Is he saying Marilla's alive, with her own plan to stop the sorrow? She must be stopped. Any plan of hers would be dangerous. I built the resonance chamber to save us all, you say. It has the power to weaken the sorrow. I can kill the creature. A half-truth. The chamber certainly has the power, but who knows if it would be enough to kill. Will you apologize to me then, selfish child? Will you beg my forgiveness?
I'm ready to learn something.
You lie. You've always lied, says Tom. Although your motives differ, Marilla's plan and yours will result in the same end, the destruction of every cast-off. I will not allow this to happen. He makes a complicated gesture with his fingers, and the pressure on your head increases. Tom's voice grows muffled and fades as your mind, your sire's consciousness, flees his imprisoned body, abandoned it to the Gibra in favor of a new host. You return to consciousness, the headache fading. Your mouth tastes of seawater, or blood. Light and wet heat bathe the inside of your face as the bloom opens a trans-dimensional portal. You can't be sure where it leads, but it's certainly your own way out. Someone, Mazov, is bracing you, holding her up. You alright? Mazov, what is the first plan at the chamber? To sever the... He gives you an odd look. You know, maybe you should ask her. I don't know enough about what's going on here. Just that it'll free us from the sorrow, well, without sucking us all into someone else's mind. And that should be enough. He shrugs. She can't do it without me, though. I best be getting back. Patting you awkwardly on the shoulder, he limps past you into the portal and vanishes. It's only when he's gone that you see the glittering contours of a small object laying where Mazov was standing. A Mirrorcaster. It must have fallen from Mazov's pockets. You wipe the slime from the joints of the machine and add it to your belongings. The spherical object is made of an unfamiliar gold-greenish metal. The object seems to be constantly moving, rotating in different directions, but when you hold it, you cannot feel the slightest hint of friction. You feel the click and whirl of countless mechanisms moving within the device, generating an almost intolerable heat. That's interesting.
I'll remember that.
That's very interesting. Is it something I can poke at? Oh, I can use it. Ho ho ho. So the question is, do I use this before I head out to face whatever it is I'm going to be facing? I believe I'm going to. Let's level up here quick. Oh, edge or effort? I wonder, should I put some extra edge into a different stat pool? extra effort's already 5. Like, that's pretty awesome. Let's go edge. Let's go... The thing is I already have everything that's more or less free. I mean, all the stuff I just dealt with was, you know, click done, uses no points. Let's add effort. Yes. That'll let me do more interesting things. Okay, so here's the plan. I'm going to make a quick cut here, and then when we come back, we're going to jump into the Marecaster and see where that leads us. Hopefully that gives me a little more information before I start blindly walking into transdimensional rifts. This isn't a great place to, you know, get lost in some past thing, but I still think I'd rather be prepared. So, on that note, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.